The silent island at the top of the world, Greenland, the largest island on Earth. Yet for a long time, one of the most overlooked places in the world. White, cold, silent, huge on maps, while small in human stories, until the world began to warm. Today, Greenland is no longer just a piece of geography. It is a climate alarm, a geopolitical pressure point, and a living laboratory showing how the future may unfold. This is Greenland's story, stretching across thousands of years. Keep listening to Emma. The first people who came to Greenland did not arrive to conquer. They came to survive. Around 2500 BCE, the first Paleo-Eskimo communities arrived from North America. They learned how the ice moved, how animals endured, and when the wind carried death. They were hunters, nomads, and instead of trying to dominate nature, they chose to adapt to it. Greenland taught humanity its first lesson back then. Here, not power, but adaptation wins. 982 CE, Eric the Red. An exiled Viking sailed west. When he reached a coast trapped between ice, the name he gave it entered history. Greenland. The Greenland. It was not a fact. It was a promise. The Vikings arrived. Settlements were built. Churches were raised. European-style farming was attempted. But Greenland was not Europe. The 14th century. The climate grew harsher. The Little Ice Age began. Farming collapsed. Livestock died. Trade with Europe was cut off. The Inuit survived. The Vikings did not. Because they failed to adapt to hunting, dismissed Inuit knowledge, and placed the preservation of identity above survival. There was no war, no massacre. The Vikings faded away in silence. As the Vikings disappeared, the Inuit remained. Igloos, seal hunting. Greenland became their home. For centuries, they did not fight nature. They did not see the ice as an enemy, but as a tool. But this balance would not last. The 18th century. Denmark returned. Missionaries arrived. Trade was monopolized. Inuit culture was suppressed. Greenland was no longer a land able to make its own decisions. This was the breaking point of modern Greenland. The 20th century brought Greenland onto the world stage. The United States and the Soviet Union stood face to face. The Arctic became the shortest path for nuclear war. The United States established Thule Air Base, installed radar systems, and integrated Greenland into its nuclear early warning network. The indigenous population was displaced and excluded from decision-making. Greenland became an unwilling military front line. In the 21st century, everything changed. The Greenland ice sheet is melting faster, raising sea levels and reshaping the global climate. But as the ice melts, other things are emerging as well. Beneath Greenland lie rare earth elements, uranium, oil, and natural gas. What does this mean? Electric vehicles, defense industries, high technology, energy security. In other words, the economy of the future. The United States sees Greenland as a security shield. The 2019 proposal to purchase it triggered a global crisis. The message was clear. This place is strategic. China is investing in mining, developing infrastructure projects, and expanding its Polar Silk Road strategy. Russia is militarizing the Arctic, seeking control over new maritime routes. Greenland is no longer just an island. It has become a space where great powers confront one another. Greenland is autonomous, but it is not fully independent. The people want to control their own resources, and the idea of independence is growing stronger. Denmark, however, does not want to relinquish security and is bound to maintain its relationship with the United States. This is a political knot that is difficult to untangle. Possible scenarios: an independent Greenland, economic freedom, but a nation exposed to external pressure, a new Cold War frontline, an expanding military presence, and rising geopolitical tensions. The epicenter of climate catastrophe, rising sea levels, global waves of migration. A warning to the world. If Greenland is saved, the world may be saved. If it is lost, the consequences will be global. Greenland's history tells us this: power comes and goes. Nature remains. Those who adapt survive. The Vikings never learned this. The world is still trying to. Greenland is silent. But as the ice melts, the message is no longer a whisper. This is not just Greenland's story. This is the story of humanity. Hello, I'm Emma. Thank you for listening. You can support the channel by liking the video. And don't forget to subscribe.